Good morning, everyone out there, or afternoon, or whatever time it is. Maybe it's 1 o'clock in the morning when you're watching this. And I'm sorry if I'm not quite in the frame. The reason why is I'm doing an over-the-shoulder video today. By the way, my name is Dave. I'm from Flash and Dance DJ and Production Services. And I'm here today to do a Tech Tip Wednesday talking about all the softwares I use. Now, this isn't going to be just today. This is going to be a multi-part series that I am going to shoot over the next couple of weeks. I want to say there's going to be between 6 and 7 parts. I know that a lot of people like quicker content. However, today's might be quick, maybe a half hour or so. And then the rest of them might turn into 45 minutes, an hour. And it's basically going to go over all the different softwares over the next, say, 7 to 10 weeks of exactly what I am. So as you can see, I've got two computers. They got two different displays. So I'm going to explain that real quick. So for me, I use Mac and PC. I don't, as some people like to say, stay in one ecosystem. I have a very, very good reason behind that. And the reason why is, for me, production, audio, DJing, I find that Mac is very, very solid, and I don't have any issues with it. As you can see here, I've got VirtualDJ open here. On this one, I have ShowXpress open. Normally, ShowXpress is not used on my Macs. I have it there because at one point I was doing everything on one computer, and I realized, watching different people, how they operated, how they did things, that a AKI MPC Mini MK2, I think it's called. I have two of them. I can build out a full control surface depending upon what I'm doing. So what I will do is, and as we go along, I'm not sure what the order is. I think I have an idea, but I'm not sure. But today is just an overview of all the softwares. And then when we get into each week, you'll see. So like Friday, my plan is I have to put some stuff together and rebuild for my metal show I have on Saturday. So my plan is to shoot next week's Tech Tip Wednesday content, which will be on the wing rack, and the M32, the DL32, and the Behringer edit. So it's going to be all the ecosystem for the consoles that I use. So right now I'm going to show you, typically on my DJ laptop, I only have one thing open normally, but depending upon what I'm doing depends upon where I'm at. Okay, so first you see VirtualDJ. VirtualDJ is one of the top softwares. There's 3 primary ones that are on the market. There are others that are up and coming. But the 3 main ones that I've tried over the years is, the first one I ever tried, actually it's 4 now at this point, PC DJ. That was my very first one, which is very similar to VirtualDJ. I believe VirtualDJ was one of the first computer-based type, and then at some point in time, so I think it was VirtualDJ, PC DJ, and then at some point in time, Serato, I think it was Serato Scratch came out, and then you had Traktor come out. Now, as far as I know, Traktor is more for clubs and like production type DJs. Then Serato is more the guys who like to do traditional turntablism. And even though, yes, some of them use controllers and things like that, they'll still use Serato because they just like what it does. When I got my MCX 8000, I went to Serato for a little bit, had to purchase the video stuff with it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it. I only went to it to try it out because I had a free license to get it. However, I went from PC DJ to VirtualDJ to Serato and then back to VirtualDJ. And here's my reason why. Now, obviously you see it like this. If I'm doing a basic event, meaning I'm just DJing, so this is what I normally say. If I am doing a karaoke night, I can actually hit this video and it brings up a video thing. So that was from my last party that I did, which was the Dark New England, which I'm sure you guys Saw the gig log from that not too long ago. So that basically is how I'm able to do that. So whether it be karaoke, music videos, whatever it is, it's built right into the software instead of having to go and buy another plugin to use with software. Okay, so now that's then incorporated with that would be the ShowXpress. Now this will be used on a PC, and the reason why is because it's a touch screen on there, so it makes it easier if I'm just doing stuff with a computer, I have an assistant and I don't want to give them the APC, that type of a thing. They could just touch the screen if they want. Now if I'm working with a band and I've worked with them for a while, I will have it's set up in songs, so it's what we almost call busking with scenes. So what I do is I actually put everything like this. So let's just say Redneck Castaway Band. Okay, so this is how you do a lot of program. With this particular show, it was very light. And as you can see, I changed this one over to macros. However, I think this is the computer that has it. I am going to check this profile and see. Okay, this is one of the originals. So as you can see here, if I scroll over, I am getting a little in depth, but I'm not going to go that far. I have songs in here, and that's because what I did, because I was just the lighting guy for these shows, so I was able to focus on breaking things down, and we'll go over this when we go into ShowXpress. So I'm going to close this, and so as you can see, which one is this? This is the X32 edit. So typically I have, and as you can see, Reaper popped up on this one. So yes, I have a lot of, and as you can see, I got an error because this is normally used with wing edit, so with the wing. So basically what you see here is, so if you go down here on my taskbar, you can see I've got wing edit, I've got the X32, I've got Wave Central, I've got the X Air, I've got Waves Tracks Live, I've got SuperRack Performer, Reaper, which is open right now, Q Labs. The power panel personal is actually from my UPS, which I can connect to it live. I have OBS, I have the M32 edit. Those are all open over there, so that way I can show that to you. I do have Mixing Station. I'm not a fan of it, but you know, if I need to, I can use it. I have Apple Music, and then down here is Resolume. So as we go along, we'll talk about each one. So right now we're going to talk about how I capture my shows. Now, depending upon where I'm working, okay, if I'm doing a full production event, not DJing, and you know, and I'm not doing like a bar gig, for example, okay, if I have to, that's where we're going to get into the music. I will just use this computer because this has a 4 terabyte hard drive in this one. This one only has a 2 terabyte. So if I am doing a production event where I'm providing audio, lighting, all that, this is the one that I'm going to go here for a second, and I will load up SuperRack Performer on this one. Okay, doesn't mean I don't have it on that one. I just have to deactivate both of my licenses for the Ultimate plugin package and for SuperRack Performer, which a lot of people did not like that when Waves went to that. After buying all these different plugins over the years, people got really upset about that. But for somebody like me, unfortunately, paying, you know, $99 for SuperRack Performer and then paying, I think it might be $60 a month, I get plugins for here and I get plugins for my office. So now all I have to do is deactivate SuperRack Performer here, deactivate my Ultimate package here, go back over here, launch up Wave Central, and reinstall everything onto this one, and now this transfers to that. So basically this layout I have here, and I'm going to show you how I do this. We're going to go more in depth, like I said. So if I hit open session, no, we don't need to save it. So as you can see, all these different from over the years. So like Moonshine Alley, when I worked with somebody by the name of Justin at the New World Tavern, Band Shape Thrower, Scarecrow Hill a couple times, Stepping Out, which is an R&B, Sun and Steel, the Iron Maiden, that 80s band Thatcher, the Jetty. The Jetty I had started here, and then I transferred it over to here because when I'm at the Jetty, I use this computer to do everything. So you can see all different things, but we'll hit cancel. So this is my, and just to show you, like, we're going to go here into my kick channel so I can hit rack, and here's my kick drum. So I have the SSL channel, I have the C6, I have a Vitamin, and CLA 76. You can also use this as well with DJing. Because it goes native into, like, say, a Behringer wing, a Midas M32, a Behringer X32. So they have neutron servers and regular servers that you can buy from Waves, and we'll go into detail when we do the one about SuperRack Performer, Waves processing, and all that stuff. So there's that. Okay, so now the next thing is, as you can see, Reaper reopen, and it's going to keep popping that area. So in here, you're going to see there's waveforms and things like that. The reason behind that is I used to use this is Waves Tracks Live. I used this when I first started doing multi-tracking. The reason why is it's very stripped down, very basic. Now, my whole thing is, when I do multi-tracking, I want something to be simple, basic, and easy. Well, here's the thing. This is no longer supported. So if I ever get a newer computer, I'd never be able to use this. So we're going to close this out. And this is what's going to be great, is I'm going to talk about, in one of these episodes, I'm going to talk about both Waves Tracks Live, and I'm going to talk about Reaper and how they both work in their own ways. So for me, I actually use Reaper. And the reason behind that is because, as you can see, it has multi-track of everything I did of this particular show. And this was at a campground. So you can see you can actually record on the wing. You can actually record up to all 48 channels. But as you can see, it's got, Larry and everybody else in the band. Some of them are empty, only because they were never used. However, it does record it inside the track. So with that being said, this is how I do what I call virtual sound check. So when I go work with a band, before the band arrives on site, after I get the PA up and I tune it real quick, and this especially if I'm not doing lights. So like Saturday, I don't know if I'm going to have time to be able to do a virtual sound check. Doesn't matter if I do or don't. If you're working with a band repeatedly and you want to, you tune a PA and then you want to hear how a PA sounds, what you can do is you can go back, set this up to playback on that said on that console, and you can use this to actually fine-tune the PA or make adjustments on your EQs, on your channels, and things like that. So that's what this is good for. But I also use it, as you can see, I use it as my recording platform. So I actually will set that up. We'll actually go through the steps of me prepping for a show. So you can see that. I'm just double checking on here. Okay, so that's everything on this computer. So we're going to turn our attention to this one now. So as you can see right now, I actually have, when I was at the Jetty this past week, this is where I had my stuff. And what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to actually shut this down. And I might film a little bit after, just to show what I do inside SuperRack. But the reason why I'm shutting this one down is because I can get this MacBook out of the way. I can shift this one over to here, so it'll be more right in line. And forgive me, I am recovering from a little bit of the sniffles. It is summertime here in northern New England. I'm in Massachusetts. So, all right, hope everybody can see this. So what you can see here is, so he has an X32, I have a DL32, and just in case a band comes back in, all we have to do is just have to hit routing, and we can change this AES over to local 1 through 16, because all I used was 1 through 16, and then 17 and 18 was my music channels. I know it's labeled here, but if I was using this and this was my own personal setup, it would basically have been all the drums. So you would have seen rack 2, floor 1, floor 2, ride, overhead, overhead, and then you would have seen whatever the key lines were. So like these 4 would have turned into keys. Then it would have been a bass for front of house, bass for monitors if I'm doing monitors for the band. And then I get guitar stage left and right, you know, so left side of the stage, left and right. Maybe a center guitarist might be up there playing acoustic or something like that, would go there. And then I would have the other guitarist. And as you can see, from channel 29 through 26 is all the vocals. And then normally if I'm using my DL32, my music gets plugged into the last 2 channels. So that's on the X32 platform. Now what you're going to see in a second, let's see, where are you? The wing, I mean, this is the M32. This is another band that I had done there. Okay, so that's all this. And basically I have this and I use DCA control to just make life easier. So now what I'm going to show you is the wing edit. So here's wing edit. So this is a start off scene for, this is Redneck Castaway Band. So basically you see all the different things. And now with the latest update, and I have to go in and I have to check, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about at the end of this video is updates. With this update that they had, they actually changed things. Okay, so this is what I have. So this is an emulation of the Soul 900, that's what they called it, of a particular gate that they have. Then here's the compressor I use. So this is an SSL bus compressor. Now, if you come over and look at my vocals, we're going to look at Danny, who's the lead singer. This is the original one that I was using. I had changed it, so that I am going to look at for a second. So let's look at, let's check this one real quick and see. All right. Yeah, so I haven't taken it from the console. I'll have to show you, because on this one, I actually changed this up. I had gone to this. Actually, here's a good way to do this. Give me 1 second. See how I got all these different bands, right? Well, I used this at the New World Tavern before it closed. That's how long ago I got this. So this is one of the bands I'm working with this weekend. Here we go right here. So that's basically what I had done. So we had a DJ on this particular night, so he was there. So here is the lead singer vocal. So as you can see, I basically changed this over to the red. Normally, which once they expanded this, believe it or not, I've actually been dumping this here too. So what happens is I use the LA2A to bring my volumes up. So if somebody's talking low at a specific point in between songs, it brings the volume up. If they get too loud, it drops them back down and keeps them in a nice little pocket. And then I use this. So this is the Scarlet Red compressor from Focusrite, and it works wonders. But as you can see, so like the same thing, I have the E88 on this particular one, and I have that bus compressor, and then I have same thing here. You know what I mean? So it all depends what you're trying to go for, what kind of show. So this is a metal show, so this is what I use that for. So that's why I have those plugins. And then, so I showed you all that. So we're gonna actually jump over to music, Apple Music. The reason for this, on both computers, I have Apple Music. So what happened was I did a show in Hampstead, New Hampshire with the Redneck Castaway Band. They were doing a town show on a Wednesday, I believe, either a Tuesday or Wednesday, outdoor concert, really big. My friend George went with me. And I was having issues not only using waves, having, so SuperRack Performer was open. I was trying to do playback. I was trying to do live recording. I was trying to do everything all in one. Not lighting, because they have lighting in-house in the stage. No big deal. They did it. And what ended up happening was I realized this computer that has a bigger hard drive should become my playback computer. And as I said, when I do the Jetty, for example, that's the reason why I need to use this computer, is because of all my music is on here. So I have all different kinds of stuff. So I can go in and, like, for example, if I hit one of these, so this was a band that I was working with. This is the Gypsy Moth. So then what I did was I created a walk-in playlist, and here's all the music. And then, like, I did, and then, like, metal. So, like, this weekend, I'm not really going to be DJing, but when I start up, I'm going to throw in a half dozen songs in here. So before the first DJ starts or anything like that, while we have walk-in, I will probably have a half dozen heavier songs that'll be in this, that'll play. For example, a local band that I love, Gloriality, I worked with them. So if you go here, this was the walk-in list that I had. And then we had 3 bands on that particular show. So this was the first band that came up on the stage, second one that came up on the stage, and then this was their song that I did. So as you can see, I jump all over the place with my music. It all depends upon, so like I even have some generic ones here too. So if we were to go up and we look at, say, light rock, so there's even a dinner hour one here. So if this, and then I even have event bass. So like I did the Midnight at the Masquerade. It was a murder mystery. As you can see, this was a CD I happened to get my hands on of various artists, and it was all different various like waltzes and stuff like that that would have been played by a live band at that point in time at the whatchamacallit, at a masquerade. And then I added all this right before they started the murder mystery from the Phantom of the Opera motion picture. And then it went into a little bit more. And then I just went into, I opened up, what was it? This one, My Snappy After Dinner, and I put it on random. I hit shuffle, and this has all kinds of music. And as you can see, it says 62 songs at 4 hours. So it's more than enough for background. So with that being said, I am going to say that the biggest thing you have to remember is when you have stuff like I do, you have to update. And when you do the updates, you need to do them on days off. Doesn't matter if you work a full-time job, doesn't matter. You're doing events all the time. You need to take a couple of days and take some time off. So what you need to do is, if you have some downtime at an event, you need to go to your manufacturer's website. So for me, I would go to Midas, I would go to Behringer, I'd go to Waves, all these kinds of different places, and find out what the latest updates are for stuff. So like Reaper, I'm not too worried about it, but I never actually install the new update until the Monday after a show. So if I open up Reaper to do prep here at home and it jumps online and it shows, hey, I got a new update, I go to the download page and I absolutely download it, put it on the computer so I have it, but I don't touch that update until Monday. So if for some weird reason it crashes, it's after the fact, you know? You just keep your fingers crossed, you closed and saved everything inside Reaper, because I did that one time and I forgot to save it and I lost an entire wedding, which kind of set me off. But that's another thing. That's another way of doing something. But sometimes too, with certain applications and certain softwares, you got to do them on PC versus Mac. Why? Don't know. That's just the way that the company wants to do things. So with that being said, I will talk to you guys on Monday. What that'll be is a gig log. I'm not sure which one that one will be. I think that one was a single one for the Jetty. I didn't get any footage like at the Jetty. I got pictures, but I didn't get any. I don't think I got any clips or setup stuff, just because it's a public venue. I don't want that. I don't want to do that to people. I don't want to put them in videos when they don't really need to be. So anyway, with that being said, remember, treat people how you want to be treated, and always learn one thing new every day. I'll see you on the next either Tech Tip Wednesday or I'll see you on the next gig log. See ya!